Thank you, Dennis, and good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and my colleagues on the platform this morning. I would like to thank Zed Michaela Jamaica for organizing this very important conference. Whenever users and influencers come together to discuss not only education, but by extension, the development of our nation, I think it's a very important occasion, and I'm very honored to be here with you. Successive governments, private sector entities, and NGOs have been talking about the need for greater infusion of technology into our education system. And we can say that as a country, we have made strides in the use of technology in education. We have the Universal Access Fund, which funds related programs, educationally related programs, including the e-learning program from international phone calls. And we've also recently had the Tablet in Schools pilot project. Among other projects and plans, these two examples show that Jamaica, as a country, understands the importance of ICT to the provision of education. Our next step, however, has to look at how best to use technology to transform the sector and to improve educational outcomes. My vision for Jamaica is to develop a knowledge economy, using technology as the agent to free the minds of our students, teachers, administrators, and policymakers, opening them to a new world of possibilities. I would like to suggest that it is through the use of technology that we can change outdated pedagogical methods and solve some of the fundamental problems facing education in Jamaica today. Problems such as scarcity of resources, access, and equity. In a world which is constantly changing, in an environment of global competitiveness where jobs are no longer only on the factory floor, but online in cyberspace, we must embrace the use of technology as a way to level the playing field. We have, in Jamaica and worldwide, good examples of how education systems can be supported and transformed through the use of technology. Recently, for example, the US State Department began a $3 million pilot program for what they call the flipped classroom. This is the idea of inverting traditional teaching methods by delivering instructional content online outside of class time and using time in school as the place to do what we traditionally called homework. So children, therefore, get to collaboratively work through questions with teachers' guidance and supervision in a controlled environment, as opposed to leaving it up to parents who may or may not have been where they could be in terms of curriculum. In Jamaica, among others, we have Edufocal and GoGSAT, both groundbreaking companies providing online tutoring for GSAT, and in respect of Edufocal, CSEC students. What's fascinating about Edufocal, for example, is its gamification of lessons to better engage students as they learn. Edufocal also recently started a pilot of the flipped classroom at a prep school here in Kingston, so we look forward to hearing how it has worked, and if so, whether this is something which can be replicated more broadly. In the UK, the idea of cloud grannies, yes, cloud grannies, has also emerged, where retired professionals from the UK are mentoring children in India in math and English via Skype. Clearly, this is a model worth exploring right here in Jamaica as a means of re-engaging retired teachers who still have the desire and energy to share, and sharing that benefit and knowledge with students in areas of need. The last example I'll give is certainly not the least, given our immediate needs as schools and administrators. And this is a school management system developed by RenWeb, which I understand, and you heard our moderator earlier say, has massively transformed access and use of data by thousands of schools which have adopted it overseas, as well as several in Jamaica. Administrators, teachers, and parents alike have all spoken about how the system has improved their ability to work within the school system. So things are happening, but clearly more must be done for us to leverage these ideas and models nationally. So let's have a look at where we are in the technology ecosystem. Today, thanks to our telecom service providers, we have wide access to mobile telephony, and many have access to mobile internet. Thanks to the Universal Access Fund, there are over 200 community access points across Jamaica, internet service in our 14 parish libraries, and in many schools. A recent study published by Edutech is helpful, however, in contextualizing this in terms of usage. The results include findings that 40% of households have internet access, with internet usage at approximately 50%. These are both significant improvements over the past several years. Regretfully, this is twinned with findings for use of social media at 36% and leisure 25%. This is contrasted with 3% for e-banking and 5% for e-government services. The World Economic Forum, in looking at Jamaica's network readiness with regards to the development of ICT infrastructure, as well as availability of digital content, ranks Jamaica at 78 out of 143 countries, and the Global Information Technology Report ranks us at 124th out of 140 countries surveyed for e-participation. So this, of course, is consistent with the 3 and 5% figures which I spoke about earlier. Clearly, therefore, while as a country we have made moves in providing access to ICTs, we still face issues of use and participation, as well as the challenge of appropriate and relevant educational content and devices specific to our education system. It is interesting to note a recent study in Britain which found that there were 70% penetration of tablets in primary and secondary schools. The same study found that there is no clear evidence of academic improvement for pupils using tablets. The study also found similar issues to those we've encountered in Jamaica with the Tablets in Schools program. In Britain, as here, students reported that they use the tablets for social media, gaming, and to view movies. The reports here seem to mirror those same challenges, while we also add issues of bandwidth and instructional deficits. What this study and others have shown is that infusing technology into the educational system, while important and in our modern world a necessity, it is not a silver bullet capable of solving the myriad issues that plague the system. In fact, an improper infusion of technology in the education system can actually result in a reduction in positive outcomes and a waste of scarce resources, especially if used to acquire technology for which the majority of students and teachers are unprepared. Now, this is not a message of negativity. This is a flag to say, let's get it right. Let's get the right advice and proceed sensibly, as we cannot afford to get it wrong. Jamaica has neither the time nor money for this. Chris Deed, the Timothy E. Worth Professor in Learning Technologies at Harvard University, has been looking at the issue of technology in education. And he, along with other academics who have studied the issue, conclude that, and I quote, "Information technology is a cost-effective investment only in the context of systemic reform. Unless other simultaneous innovations in pedagogy, curriculum, assessment, and school organization are coupled to the usage of instructional technology, the time and effort spent on implementing devices produces few improvements in educational outcomes and reinforces many educators' cynicism about fads based on magical machines." He also goes on to state, however, in the same paper, I quote, "If we were to implement systemic reform based on new strategies of learning using sophisticated technology, research suggests that typical students might do as well as exemplary learners do now. Our expectations for pupils and what they can accomplish are far too low, largely because standard educational processes are obsolete given the progression of information technology. In our context, therefore, Jamaica needs to place itself on the threshold of an education revolution through the use of technology. But this revolution cannot take place without a deep appreciation of the roles technology can play within the context of need for a broader change in our education system. Without a holistic approach at all levels of the education system, dealing with but not limited to infrastructure, teacher training, curriculum development, and a mindset change within the school management structure, technology will not by itself transform the system. Regarding infrastructure, we need to be able to create more efficient means for access to educational material. So the Universal Access Fund has funded increased connectivity and the creation of educational material, but we are yet to see the establishment of the central repository for educational material accessible by both teachers and students. Teachers need to get comfortable with using technology. They need to be as comfortable as students, or at least close, when teaching tech-savvy students. If not, the effective delivery of courseware can be compromised. We must also, therefore, look specifically at how our current curricula deal with technology-based delivery and how teachers' colleges are equipping their students to understand the technology-based delivery and how they can eventually adapt to navigate the new classroom spaces that use technological tools. We must move faster as a nation in encouraging the use of technology in the wider society and increase access to more Jamaicans so that more students have home access, not only access in schools and libraries. In doing this, we can develop a culture of appreciation for the role of technology as a tool for development, as a tool to build knowledge, as a tool for social mobility and income generation. In my opinion, for us to truly benefit from the wondrous opportunities that technology can create in enhancing educational outcomes, and they are truly wonderful, we must also not only look at the middle of the stream, but the head and tail of the stream. We must look at the way technocrats view the role of technology in education and also how our children and teachers at the earliest level are introduced and educated to the role technology can play in the development of education systems and learning. We're lucky, though. Many countries throughout the world have sought to do the same things we're thinking about and starting to do now. Countries such as Singapore and South Korea have used technology to transform their education system, and other countries such as the UK have been working at this transformation. The best practices and mistakes are there for us to learn from. We have a grand opportunity, therefore, at this stage of our journey to do it right, and experts are literally right here in this room. Technology is one of the most important tools for leveling the education playing field. But like all tools, the hands that use them must be ready, able, and capable. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and attention, and I wish you a wonderful and productive conference. Thank you.